up, you guys? Welcome to the June 3rd edition of NBA 3-Ball, presented by Establish the Run. I'm your host, Mike Gallagher. Getting ready to break down some of the Wednesday action, preview the two-game slate on Thursday, and hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Please, going to start with the preview of the LAKERS-SUNS Game 6, and yeah, I mean, we've probably got a lineup change coming here, and we saw Andre Drummond kind of have that cryptic tweet, which was kind of an indicator to me that Markieff Morris was starting for this game in Game 5. And it looks like Drummond's going to sit based on the tweet. So, Marc Gasol, we saw him start the third quarter next to Alex Caruso. So, you know, it makes sense. Gasol's actually shot the ball more per minute with LeBron and without AD more than anybody. So, they need him for spacing desperately. As much spacing you can get for LeBron is really the priority, in my opinion, on what they should do there. So, I think Gasol's got a great shot to start. After that, you got KCP, who Vogel said tightened up in the second half minutes-wise. So he may not be a lock to start. We saw, obviously, Markieff Morris. He's probably not a good bet to start either with the way things worked out. So it's really tough to go for all that size and then to go, you know, just give up Ayton and just have him go one-on-one with Gasol. Is that what you're betting on? I think so. So I think Kuzma may have a shot to start here. Certainly think Alex Caruso, they really trust him. He gets another boost because of KCP being banged up. My goodness, Dennis Schroeder was bad with the goose egg, so he'll certainly be on thin ice. And LeBron, again, they're just packing the paint on him, and he's really not driving much when Jay Crowder's been on him. Matchup data has him with 13 of his 19 shots against Crowder being threes. Only 5 of those 19 were made, so Crowder doing a really good job. Again, team defensive factor. That matchup data is a little noisy, but just gives you a little idea of how things have been working out. And yeah, just LeBron doesn't look right. I mentioned his half-court offense isn't quite where it needs to be, in my opinion. Taking a lot of threes, not getting in the paint like as much as he really should. He needs to be, 35, 40, 50% for it to be really good LeBron. And that's just not going to happen with the way they're covering him unless somebody really steps it up from 3. So that's what Vogel talked about. He needs 3-point shooting. So whoever can provide that, and no one has done that. So I think Kuzma has the upside there. I mentioned Gasol. I think Talen Horton-Tucker has to have a role here, whether it's off the bench, which makes the most sense, to help anchor and create some sort of secondary offense. We saw Montrezl Harrell not get minutes until garbage time. Maybe he's an option to stagger when LeBron's off the court, to run some of him and Schroeder pick and roll stuff. Just a lot of stuff that can go on here. But in a nutshell, I think Gasol is definitely a winner. I think Caruso's a winner. Can't really trust KCP. Could see some Schroeder, but my goodness, he was bad. And Kuzma has to play big time. It's pretty simple. Honestly, don't really have much on the Suns. We know that they're going to probably go pretty heavy with their starting lineup. They were playing them quite a bit. Probably been close to like mid-20s of their starters. That's a lot. 16 minutes before Chris Paul got hurt. Chris Paul, good to go. Basically, kind of got the okay for Monty Williams after the game and didn't want to make it official, but it sounds like he's okay. Should be playing pretty good. He's hit 23 usage rate in the last 2 games he's played. Obviously, he got hurt late, so usage is back. Could be an option here to kind of take some pressure off him. DeAndre, and we saw his usage go away, but I think they really want to get him going. It's definitely worth noting, though, that Marc Gasol has limited him compared to others. Just 12 and 11 per 36 when Gasol's out there versus 19 and 12 against non-Gasol minutes. So Ayton's upside not quite as high, but he's going to play really a lot of minutes in this game, just the kind of way they want to attack them. Cameron Payne getting that Chris Paul overlap sometimes. And Monty says he wants him to attack a lot when he's out there, so we've seen him shoot a bunch, 11 shots in 19 minutes in the last game. Certainly expect him to be a big factor in this kind of a 8.5-man rotation with Torrey Craig being in there, and we'll see what Devin Booker has in store. We know he'll shoot a lot, but Chris Paul being out there to run the offense should take a little upside off him. First game of the day is the Blazers and Nuggets, and I mean, I don't need to say anything on Dame. I'm sure you've seen and heard everything there is to say. He's so good. I think the most important factor is just keeping Nurk on the floor. Their starters have been really good. They have a plus 10.4 net rating in 72 minutes against the other starters. Overall, they're even better in that time. They're plus 24.1 when it's Joker and Monte Morris. Talk about Monte in a second. So keeping Nurk on the floor as much as you can is everything. Interestingly, not a lot of fouls on Joker when he has his per 36. It's 6 fouls per 36 in that time that I mentioned. So if he could just chill out with the fouls, I really think the Blazers have a good chance. We know they're going to really cover Dame, but Dame elimination game, man, could be real big time. Nuggets side of this, besides Joker just being an absolute machine, and you should feed him. Feed him as much as you can to get Nurk into foul trouble. That's the key to this game. And yeah, the other thing that really stands out that's very obvious is Monte Morris was everything. 41 minutes, including 28 final minutes to close the game. Basically booted Facu Campazzo out of the rotation after Monte was kind of mixing it in with taking away from Austin Rivers or Facu. Obviously more Facu than anybody else, but Malone really talked him up, said he was being aggressive, getting downhill after being more east-west earlier in the series. So we kind of talked about this before coming into this game, that it would be a Monte Morris breakout game, and my God, Drew Dinkmeyer flag planted him, mentioned him in the last matchups column, so home run for us. MPJ also, quote, answered the bell from Malone after, again, he does this a lot. Every time he has his really down games, MPJ bounces back, so mad props to the coaching staff there. We know this rotation should be pretty similar, besides the fact that Monte, I think, is going to play a ton here. Little recap, we got some closeouts. We got the Eastern Conference second round with some Hawks, Sixers, and the Hawks. Yeah, again, Trae Young, man, just pops to me. I called it. I said Trae Young was going to have a monster series. Became a superstar, really, in front of our very eyes. Garden has a supervillain now with the way he was bowing, so good. But I'm definitely going to dig more in on this when we get to the Sixers matchup. I'm not going to make any picks yet, but obviously with Embiid hurt, talk about that in a second. The Hawks got a legit shot here. I think this team is equipped to handle a 76ers team with limited or out Embiid. Yeah, Knicks, nothing really to say. Tom Thibodeau just kept going to the same rotation, kept shooting himself in the foot with the same plan. We saw a little Taj Noel, just some overlap there. That was kind of weird. Yeah, he just never cracked that pick and roll from Trae. Never got any offense generated off ball with their catch and shoot stuff, with their pick and roll stuff, with their transition stuff that was really bad. It was just bad. It was just really bad coaching, in my opinion. I said Tibbs should have been coach of the year. So for him to come out and have what was probably the worst coaching effort of anybody in the first round, it's unfortunate. But the Knicks got to feel pretty good about how the season went. Sixers advance, and yeah, a couple big things. Obviously, the Joel Embiid thing is the headline. Has a slight meniscus tear. So meniscus tears, a couple things vary. The size of it and the location of it. We don't really know the details. We're not going to. And, I mean, that stuff doesn't really heal. So someone had posted that, like, you know, he's going to get his knee inflamed all the time and it's going to be tough to play on. I mean, that just sounds so sketchy for him to be out there. And, I mean, the over-under on games has to be, like, 2, 3 maybe. Limited. It pretty much knocks out, you know, the 37-minute games from Embiid, I would say, as we kind of learn more about this. He did go through some warm-ups. That's a good sign that it is kind of a day-to-day thing. But this is super scary. With this game, we saw, shout out to me, called Matisse Thybulle starting in matchups, and yeah, didn't do anything with that time. But hey, I'll take the dub for the starter. But the hero for the Sixers, the low end hero by far, Tyrese Maxey. My God, awesome first half. Really got them back after a really slow start. He was tremendous. Definitely earned his playing time. We saw Doc Rivers talk him up previously, and yeah, he's gonna be playing a bunch. Seth Curry, another guy who was a really easy beneficiary from the Embiid stuff. So saw that ball handling step up, not as reliant on floor spacing as far as deep Embiid penetration to get him looks. And we saw that. He played great, 17 shots, got a lot of twos, on-ball stuff. It wasn't just him catch and shoot. He's a capable scorer. And then Tobias and Ben Simmons shut up so many people, in my opinion. Just a great game from him. He's so good. I feel like people forget how tall he is and how versatile he is as a defender. Besides on ball, he's so good as a defender, and I hate Ben Simmons slander on the timeline. Nothing to say on the Wizards, really. We saw Rui Hachimura really step up. His last 2 games have been just awesome. Daniel Gafford, minutes are getting there again. He said in the offseason he wants to kind of gain weight and build up his conditioning. We know that Scott Brooks limited him to those 6-7 minute stints most of the time because of conditioning, and Bradley Beal certainly and Westbrook, they're going to be back. This team should be, playoff threat next year. Huge injury of the day is Mike Conley, that right hammy tightness again. February issue, we saw him again with April 2 times. This makes it 3 times. Same hamstring. You hate to see it. That affects them big time. They have the depth there, obviously, with Jordan Clarkson and Joe Ingles. We know Joe Ingles would start. Conley is getting an MRI, so those guys would be asking to step up in a big way. We don't know who they're going to play, but We saw Donovan Mitchell just really step up. We've seen this before in the playoffs when Conley was away for paternity leave and Donovan Mitchell was just going to go nuclear. So, and Boyan, also really steps up in this role. So, yeah, that Conley thing could really make it tough on them in the second round. Clippers dropped this one. I'm banned on Clippers betting takes. I just think I have this team figured out how they're going to perform, and I'm just dead wrong every time. So no more Clippers betting takes from me. Kawhi didn't play great. Had that air ball to end the game. Reggie Jackson, played pretty well. The killer here was Rondo and Zubats. Just wasted minutes. Minus 19 for those two guys at around 20 minutes each. Horrible games from them. That was big. Last but certainly not least, Luka Doncic, despite nerve issues, despite not being able to turn left, despite grimacing in the last game, he comes out and just goes freaking ham. 42 points from him, dominated inside, just got inside on them all day, really took advantage of that small ball lineup. You could see that was kind of part of the game plan to get him going that way, to get 25 twos. Didn't even get foul calls, and he still gets to 42 points. Just an insane performance, insanely tough shot making from him. Peak Luka performance. Got to feel good about the Mavs, honestly. I'm dead wrong about the Clippers. I feel I had so many takes on them making a run. I just take them all back so quickly right now. The other big thing, obviously, Boban gets the start, gets 20 minutes, plays pretty well overall in those minutes. Did kind of get exploited at certain times, but held it down. And it was straight up, almost exclusively, KP at the 4. We saw Dwight Powell really fill up some minutes. They loved him as a pick and roll man. That dictated their offense a lot with him and Luka. So that was big. Obviously, putting Zubats in bad spots really killed them. Those Powell minutes were very, very valuable for them. And Kristaps hit a big dagger 3 really. But besides that, my God, he was almost unplayable, it felt like at times. So we'll see what happens with his minutes. You got to feel pretty crappy about it right now with how he's been playing. Tim Hardaway Jr. plays all the minutes at 45 minutes. Luka 43, and Dorian Finney-Smith certainly locked in for minutes as well. So that's it for today. Going to be doing probably a little bit of preview of Nets Bucks in 3-ball. We've got a 3-man coming out later today with Drew, Wiggins, and myself. So pumped to talk about that one. I'm sure we'll have some Clippers takes that we will all want to take back. So we'll catch you guys for that one and catch you tomorrow for the next 3-ball.